Mondays are made for racing. It's prime time here in Tennessee. We're glad you're with us. What should be an amazing race here in Nashville on 86 laps, a test of endurance, a test of patience. The run towards the playoffs continues here to kick off the month of August. And we are glad you're with us. Points going in. Pretty straightforward. Emily Howe, points leader with 487 points. Ben Roberts missing 2 races this season on vacation. Still sitting second with his race wins this campaign. Casey Washington closing in on third. Dustin Hall in fourth. Tucker Sawyer top 5. Ahead of Caitlin Height, Josh Arnold, and Christina Ryan. Winner last night in the HTL Cup Series race in Kansas. Top 8 here as we enter Nashville Superspeedway. Patrick Oberstadt not present tonight. Top 10 in points right now. He'll drop a little bit. How far depends on the rest of the field behind him. Eli Sassick 10th, Zach Meredith 11th. Mo Perry right now sitting in the 12th position in points. Zach Apperson, Byron Jones, Blake Henderson, and Mirabella Viscali find themselves on the right side of the cut line if the playoffs were to begin today. But they've still got 7 races before the playoffs begin. Brady Smith, likewise, thankful he's got time to get back inside the top 16, sitting outside by just a point. Ahead of Bobby Flowers, Stephen Oberstadt, John Matthews, Alfred Denny, Derek Miller, Elias Flores. The part-time driver, Rudy Valentin, with 2 wins this season, 24th in points right now. Bailey Thompson, 25th. James Wright, Philip Snipes. This is home racetrack. As close to home race as they're going to get. He's from the Memphis area. Not from Memphis, he's from the Knoxville area. We're in Nashville, obviously. So a little bit different for him. DJ Trout in 28th. Dale Markowski, 29th. Martin Roberg, your top 30. Hunter Peach, Hunter Whitlock, Nick Pressey, your top 33. Jason Scott, Richard Odie. Gary Donaldson, your top 36 at the moment. Then you look at some of the drivers that have not raced the full campaign. June Jimenez, following the win last week at the Brickyard, up to 37th in points, ahead of Marcus Chafin, Olivia Pereira, Casey Ellis, Blue Jade. Josh Susie back on the racetrack for the first time since since Phoenix, actually. We're subbing in for Patrick Oberstadt. Not part of the full-time conversation here. Neither is Kevin Gibney Jr., Davis Meal Jr., Ruby Nekomata, Austin Mongold, Cade McKee, Malachi Tracy, all part-time drivers. Coming in as super subs, same with DJ Anderson, Lily Frazier, Jared Philpott, Mark Parkhurst, Shad Swatsworth, Tristan Bayer, and Carson Lucas, who only did 1 race, the Daytona 500, to kick off the season. But 55 have scored points so far in this campaign. A huge shout out to Team Conti Center Performance, the sponsor of today's race, and also sponsoring the qualifying efforts, of which only 9 cars have set lap times so far in this campaign. We'd also be remiss not to shout out our official drink supplement provider in Advanced. They joined us a little over a week ago, and they've already been changing lives here. They can help you out with the same way they've helped us out, whether it's needing help sleeping, focus, energy, hydration. They got a little bit something for everybody. They've also got Sport Shakers, NFL season a month away. All 32 teams have licensed shakers on the Advanced store. Go and grab one. Obviously, being a Bengals fan, had to grab the orange and black one for Cincinnati. So we are ready for football season. Another huge shout out for our Premier Tier patrons. Travis Logan, Dogman 2935, Eli Sassick, Jason Scott, Alfred Denny, Weekend Hobby 22, Philip Snipes, Tyler Head, B-Dogs, Colin McDonough, Blue, KJ Gibney, J-Paw, Jake Potak, and June for being Premier Tier patrons over on patreon.com/ABN Studios. Some heavy hitters beginning to join the racetrack, looking for pole position. The first of the heavy hitters would be that of Caitlin Height. 13 set lap times so far, and Caitlin Height's going to reset here. Not quite getting the wind-up that she was looking for. Zach Meredith on provisional pole. Emily Howe front row provisionally at the moment. We'll see how that shakes out and changes. Viscali goes 7th fastest. Right on the back straightaway at the moment, and we'll reset there. Now on a flying lap. Let's see what she's got. Josh Susi joining the racetrack. We'll focus on him there in a second. He's normally pretty good for a pole run. We'll see if that changes. We'll also keep an eye on Dustin Hall. 3rd place here last time we were here a couple seasons ago. Press our finish line. Caitlin Height. Where does she place? 3rd fastest. Just in time for Josh Susi's run in that 88, filling in for Patrick Oberstadt. Let's see what he's got in that Chevrolet. Susi looking pretty quick here, pretty rapid. 29.5 is enough for provisional pole. There you go. Dustin Hall. Representing Team Conti for Beagle Denny Racing, teammates with Josh Susi for this race. Blowers goes provisional pole. How about Dustin Hall? He's beginning his lap right now. So Bobby Blowers, hot off of getting an appeal, was initially supposed to be suspended following the events at the Brickyard. Both him and Blue Jade were disqualified from the 400 last week for race manipulation. Blowers has gone and responded by putting it on provisional pole. How about Dustin Hall? What has he got? Coming across our finish line. It's going to be close, but it's not going to be front row. It'll be row 2 for Dustin Hall. Byron Jones in 3rd. Eli Sasek, we know he's got some pace. I don't think this is going to be it, though. He's not looked quick in the first half of this lap, and it's not. 15th. Bren Roberts is crashed in qualifying here. He will start in the back of the field. And that will bring qualifying to a close. So Bobby Blowers on the front row alongside Josh Susi. Gonna be interesting to see how that plays out. A lot of talking points here entering Nashville. Got about 5 minutes until the starting grid. So we will try to catch you up on some of the things that you might have missed. There's some information about the race coming up here in Nashville. Stages end on 50 and 100 here tonight. 186 laps is the scheduled race distance. Pretty symmetrical racetrack. 14 degrees of banking in all 4 corners. This is the second time the HTL Cup Series has visited the concrete jungle in Nashville. Mark Kissenweather won the first race 2 seasons ago. Ahead of Hunter Peach and Dustin Hall is how that top 3 rounded out. The HTL Cup Series campaign rolls on. Next week, we're in Michigan. We head back to Florida for Homestead Miami Speedway on the 17th. August 24th, we head up the I-95 corridor to make a stop at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And then we head back to Florida for back-to-back races to end out August and begin September. It's the Firecracker 400 and then the Daytona 250 on the road course there at the World Center of Racing. And then the regular season will end on September 14th at the Blankenship Freight Lines 500 in Charlotte. This is considered a short track. It is less than a half mile and a half. So it's a smaller spoiler, 3-inch spoiler, 750 horsepower, no rear diffuser, and reduced downforce in an attempt to assist in making passes happen. Drivers have not been positive that has made much of an effect on how these cars perform. 36 of them on the racetrack for this event. We'll see how that changes. 35 took part in this race 2 seasons ago. So consistent field number for the HTL Cup Series here in Music City. And of course, driver spotlight as well. Dustin Hall, a win earlier this season in Kansas, trying to see if he can grab another one. He starts 4th in tonight's event. 4 top 5s. He is 4th in points. In his intermediates, which this race does count as, he's been pretty electric. 6.5, his average finishing position on tracks 1.25 miles and greater. Likewise, your betting odds: Emily Howe, Bren Roberts, Dustin Hall, Caitlin Height, Josh Arnold, Pacey Wygant. Your top 6 on the betting odds. Emily Howe expected to finally break through and grab a race win, but we've said that multiple times this season. Dustin Hall should be in the consideration as well. Caitlin Height should be under consideration here, although this is one of the very few tracks she has never won at. Steven Oberstadt, Tucker Sawyer, Christina Ryan, Eli Sasek. These betting odds, importantly, came together before we knew Josh Soucy would be on the racetrack tonight. And these betting odds were also made before we knew that Bobby Blower's suspension had been appealed. So a couple of big names that are not on that list that probably could be considered in that conversation tonight. We've not had to use it much, but it does exist. HTL overtime. We got 3 attempts. This is for the end of the race. If there's a caution that forces overtime, we got 3 attempts to end this race under green. Green flag starts the overtime. If a caution comes out before the white flag, they reset. If the white flag comes out on the 3rd attempt, the race ends under yellow. If the leader hits the white flag, the race finishes under green flag conditions. We've not seen an overtime finish in well over a month here. We thought we might have seen it a week ago in Indianapolis. It turned out not to be the case. So we'll see if that changes. We have some amazing camera sets as well for this racetrack here in Nashville Superspeedway. Henderson Graphics are the ones responsible for that. If you're needing camera sets or whether you're just wanting to look fantastic, get NASCAR experience without NASCAR prices, the QR code on your screen can help you get started with all of that. A lot of people trusting Henderson Graphics for their paints, whether it's Cup, National, Truck, Late Model. You can take care of all of it, whether you're just looking nice for NIS or wanting to win real life at ARCA. He's your guy. That being said, it is time for the starting grid. We welcome everyone to the HTL Cup Series Team Conti 400 here at Nashville Superspeedway, 1.3 mile concrete oval. Used to be part of the same conglomerate that owned Dover International Speedway as well. Now they're all taken care of by SMI. 186 laps. It is going to be a bit of an endurance race. Drivers with different split moods going into this event. Let's see how that shakes out. But let's go ahead and start with the starting grid here from Nashville Superspeedway. Your starting grid, it's the man that was suspended and then successfully got that appealed. Bobby Blowers, hot off the race manipulation disqualification at Indianapolis. He's on pole position tonight alongside former 2-time Cup Series champion making his first start in almost 2 months, Josh Soucy, as he starts on the front row for Beagle Denny Racing. Row 2's where you'll find Byron Jones alongside Dustin Hall for tonight's event. Dustin Hall starting 4th, finished 3rd here 2 seasons ago. Blake Henderson top 5 qualifying effort alongside Zach Meredith, another former champion, in the top 6. Emily Howe, points leader by almost 100 points alongside her teammate Caitlin Height. Those two made contact at the Brickyard a week ago on the white flag. Let's see if they can race a little bit cleaner here at the Concrete Jungle in Nashville. Tucker Sawyer, Josh Arnold, top 10 is how they start in row 5. Pacey Wygen, DJ Trout will make up row number 6. Wygen for Ascent Racing, DJ Trout for Orlando Outlaws here. John Matthews and Stephen Oberstadt in row number 7. See how they start from 13th to 14th on the grid. Eli Sasek and Dale Markowski starting in row 8. Sasek won the Challenger Series race on Tuesday here in Nashville. Can he go 2 for 2 in Tennessee? We'll find out. Mirabella Viscali and Derek Miller. Similar looking race cars, different teams. Arrowhead on the inside lane, NFG on the outside lane. They'll work from 17th to 18th on the grid. Bailey Thompson claimed this is one of her favorite racetracks. Qualifying says otherwise. 19th for the 27 car. Christina Ryan, a winner last night in the Winslow Cup Series in her 91st start. Still looking for her first points win in the HTL Cup Series. Starts 20th tonight. Zach Apperson in 21st alongside teammate Alfred Denny in row 11. Row 12, last week's winner, June Jimenez alongside Mo Perry, who is top 12 in points at the moment. Philip Snipes, home racetrack as close as you can. Not quite Knoxville, but it will have to do. He's starting 25th alongside the returning Angel Santiago, who's driving the 35 in place of Casey Ellis. Richard Odie, his teammate, on the inside, row 14 alongside Elias Flores, the Oakland native, sitting in 28th. James Wright in 29th alongside Jason Scott. They'll make up row 15. Lily Frazier in the number 5 camp for Orlando Outlaws Academy in row 16 alongside Martin Roberg. Nick Pressey in row 17. A low starting position for him alongside Brady Smith. And I believe we have one more row. We do. Bryn Roberts, Olivia Pereira in that row. And Gary Donaldson will be row 19. So 37 cars ready to roll tonight here in Nashville. The sun is out. The crowd is here. It's Blowers and Susie on the front row. The green flag flies. The Team Conti 400 is... Hey. Flowers leads the opening lap here in Nashville. Byron Jones looking for a first and second. Ahead of Josh Susie. This will be a race that will likely rely on long run pace. If you have it, you'll be sitting pretty. The question is, who's have it? We don't quite have the answer to that question. Blake Henderson looking his way around Dustin Hall right now. Finished 10th here 2 seasons ago. Didn't quite have the best time in the Challenger Series race on Tuesday. And Dustin Hall will keep him at bay for right now for that 4th spot. Emily Howe up in 6th. Pacey Wygen's already gained 4 spots on the initial start here, up into the 7th spot ahead of Meredith, Height, and Arnold. Another big mover, Philip Snipes, further back the order, already 6 spots gained early on ahead of his teammate June Jimenez. Car spinning, that's Height. Height in trouble, and the caution comes out for the first time on lap 4 for car 13. Was it self-inflicted, or was there help from the 13 camp? Let's take a look. On board with Caitlin Height. Might have been a little bit of contact there. Sent a wrong way round. Taking a look at that from the spotter's cam up above in slow motion. Side by side with Zach Meredith, ahead of Josh Arnold, so teammates there together. It looks like Caitlin just kind of runs up a little bit into the 2 and goes for a bit of a half spin perpendicular to the racetrack in traffic. Caution gets thrown there. Despite the fact that she slides down the racetrack, the field will get a chance to reset. Really good job to keep that car from careening back into traffic or into the wall. But a lot of spots lost early here for the 13 camp. So opening caution, a chance to reset. Some will from 27th on down. Looks like early retirements in this race. Brady Smith already out. Tucker Sawyer might be out as well. There he is, Tucker Sawyer on the racetrack right now. At the very tail end of the field. Flowers leads the way. His teammate Byron Jones in second. Josh Susie, Dustin Hall, Blake Henderson, your top 5. As we get ready to go back racing here in Nashville. Most everyone in the top 27 again stayed out here. So the question is going to be what comes next. Green flag flies, away we go once again. Flowers out in front, ahead of Byron Jones. Dustin Hall up to third around Josh Susie on this go-around. Caution's out for the second time, and it's Mo Perry. Not sure if anyone else involved in that. Well, Mo Perry is, and so that's the third Ascent car in trouble here. Take a look as to what happened here. And the spotter's cam in between two Ascent cars. Checked up behind Jimenez. And a little tap there from the 13. of Caitlin Height is going to help send him around the wrong way. Huge hit to Lily Frazier, though. Even more contact by somebody further back. That might have been Viscali. Huge hit. Yeah, well, look at this in slow motion here. Keep an eye on the 5 of Frazier outside of Christina Ryan here. Christina Ryan gets lucky on this one. Frazier, unfortunately, 100% does not. Gets clobbered right in the left rear tire, too. Gets slammed into the fence. I think it was Byron Jones in the 60 that clipped him. So a little bit of trouble here. Perry down pit lane. A few others are as well. They try to get some work done. And so 3 Ascent cars with trouble early here. So we're going to get ready to go racing once again here for the Team Conti 400 in Nashville. Second restart coming up here. Flower than Jones once again out in front. Dustin Hall third. Josh Susie in fourth. Henderson and Howell top 6. Pacey Wygant, Josh Arnold, Zach Meredith, John Matthews are top 10 right now. Again, most of the field has yet to come down pit lane for the first time. 23 cars have yet to come down pit lane. 2 cars with a lot of technical issues. Brady Smith, Tucker Sawyer. Tucker Sawyer's day officially done. Brady Smith on the racetrack, but it doesn't seem like it because he is having a lot of latency issues. He is hanging back significantly. He's having a lot of problems. You can see that there. The issues that he is having right now. Green flag flies, away we go. Second restart tonight. Susie trying to find a way around Byron Jones quickly up the racetrack. They both go on the exit of turn 4. Jones holds on to second, but not by much. And we have pressuring Dustin Hall as well. Byron Jones way up the racetrack there. Going to lose at least one spot here on this exchange. Susie to second. Side by side now, Byron Jones about to lose third to Dustin Hall here. Inside lane right now is the place to be for the most part. Byron Jones is trying to hang in there and defend to that third spot. Still a lot of battling side by side here. Dustin Hall not taking no for an answer there into turn one. Gets around, whoa, and sends the 24 up the racetrack. And that's going to open the door for both Howe and Wygant to try to slip through, and they do. We were concerned following Indianapolis how the field would race the Orlando Outlaws cars following the race manipulation at Indy. There's our first glimpse at the answer. Flowers under pressure from Susie, who's closed into quarter second early on here. Wygant under the doorstep of Emily Howe for third place. Dustin Hall in fifth, Jones in sixth. Keep an eye on Zach Meredith right there in this seventh spot right now. And their side-by-side bus just behind Henderson, working around Josh Arnold. That is for eighth right now. So Henderson up to 8th, Arnold in 9th, DJ Trout right now in the 10th spot. And then John Matthews in 11th. Stephen Oberstadt 12th, Derek Miller sitting right now in the 12th position. Not a bad effort for him. Caitlin Height on the climb forward, trying to get around Dale Markowski. And Zach Apperson gets around Apperson, now working on the 7 of Markowski to try to get back into the top 10 conversation. Right now sitting 15th. Nick Cressy yet to make a pit stop here, sitting in the 17th spot, gaining some spots early. Mirabella Viscali in 18th place, I should say. Elias Flores battling with Alfred Denny for 19th place and will not be able to hold on to that 19th spot. Here comes Jimenez. Jimenez around Roberg. That 60 car part of the controversy in Indianapolis. It wasn't with Roberg in the car. They battle side by side. Christina Ryan in 23rd right now. Eli Sasek 24th. Olivia Pereira 25th. Ahead of Phillips Knifes. Trouble for Martin Roberg, who goes for a slide, but saves it. Just like Caitlin Height did earlier. Only this time a caution won't come out because he didn't spin on the racing surface. And he'll drop well down the order. His teammate at the front of the field, Blowers, continuing to hold off Josh Susie. who was in the situation on Tuesday in the Challenger Series, being held off by Christina Ryan for the better part of 30 laps. Similar situation in play here. Emily Howe trying to work her way around the one of Dustin Hall, battling for that 4th spot. Long run pace is important. We think both the 1 and the 15 have 2 of the better long run cars. The 88 is going to be in that conversation as well. What about the Ascent car, Pacey Wygent? What about the Outlaws car of Blowers? What did their long run pace look like at the moment? Blowers has track position. They're going to battle side by side for another lap here, the 15 and the 1. Giving each other plenty of space here. Wouldn't say that these two really enjoy racing with each other, but they've not really ever clashed on the racetrack. That could change here in Nashville. But so far, it's been fairly cordial as they battle for that 4th spot. I think Dustin Hall might be able to hold on to that for the time being. Emily Howe, though, giving it a really good effort. But they got to focus up and start trying to chip in at the top 3 again. Jones down in 6th, has lost half a second to that top 5 conversation. He is now worried about keeping Meredith at bay. With Henderson in no man's land right now. Not a bad place for him to be right now. He's ahead of both Trout and Josh Arnold as they battle for the 9th spot, which will go in favor of the Nebraska native. But he's ahead of them by a solid 3/4 of a second. And he's closing in on what could be a battle for the 6th position right now. We're right on board with them. Only one official retirement in this race, Mo Perry. Everyone else still running. Brady Smith, Tucker Sawyer dealing with a lot of technical issues, but trying to keep themselves on the racetrack to the best of their ability. They're the only 2 cars right now off the lead lap. As we complete lap 31 of 186. Big reminder, stage 1 ends lap 50. No stage breaks. We race through it, but that's the goal everyone is aiming for. Everyone can meet that lap 50 stage break, or not stage caution. They can meet the end of stage 1 without a pit stop, is what we're trying to say. Expected window is 51 to 55 laps, and that window is based purely on tire wear, I think, more than fuel mileage. Fuel mileage, you should be able to get to about lap 55. We don't expect many to stretch it to that full 55. See the side-by-side battle from onboard Henderson here. They're just trying to find a way around the 24 at Jones. It'll pull Henderson into this conversation by default. Car down pit lane, Frazier. And this is for damage repair. Been on pit lane for a minute now. Dustin Hall has gone around Pacey Wygent while we're riding on board there. So a couple of them fastest position here in the top 5. And Dustin Hall now behind his teammate Josh Susi. Words we didn't think we'd say here on HTL on ABN. The teammates Josh Susi and Dustin Hall, 2nd and 3rd right now, trying to chase down Bobby Blowers. Now under threat from Henderson for that 7th spot. Henderson not going for the inside lane. Wants the outer lane for this run. Interesting call. Meredith, though, holds on to that 7th spot. James Wright with an issue. Out of turn 2. Trouble for James Wright, Grand Rapids native. Well off the racetrack, I think, coming down pit lane here. Yes, he is, using the cooldown lane in 3 and 4 to stay out of the leader's way. Not a lot of lap traffic for the leaders to deal with here. Thompson down pit lane early, spent 30 seconds on pit lane, taking care of, looks like, a little bit of damage. No, Bailey Thompson's actually had a technical issue. Thompson's off the racetrack right now after 35 laps completed. Came down pit lane for a 30-second stop on lap 4 during the first caution cycle. So that is not what Bailey's retirement is for, but Bailey right now off the racetrack in the 27 car, which is going to be a gut punch. This was a track that they were looking forward to in the 27 camp. Thought they could get a good result out of it. Just qualified pretty well as well, all things considered, and had moved up closer to the top 10. And Thompson now back on the racetrack, so a technical issue for Thompson as well. Like it would, just like with so many other drivers, with Tucker Sawyer or Brady Smith having technical issues as well. So multiple laps down now for Thompson as the leaders go by through turns 1 and 2. 11 to go in stage 1. Flowers, Susie, Hall, Wygett, Howe for top 5. Outside the top 5, still pretty intense. More cars being brought into it. Henderson's been passed by Arnold. DJ Trout in 10th still. Gatekeeping that top 10 from John Matthews and Steven Oberstadt. But everyone just trying to hang in there. Christina Ryan down pit lane early, lap 40 for the 80 car. This is part of the game plan for those making earlier pit stops, make the undercut, try to gain some track position. We saw this in Nashville a week ago for the Challenger Series race on Tuesday. Christina Ryan used a similar strategy there. Looking for track position the best she can. Sitting outside the top 20 before this pit stop. Not a bad pit stop, 10.7 was the pit stop time for the former ABN world champion. Down the front straightaway, the top 10 roll. 7 to go here in stage number 1. Flowers has opened up a 3/4 second gap on Josh Susie here as we approach the end of stage 1. Flowers needs all the points he can get following the disqualification last week. He scored 0 points. Didn't have a great race in Indianapolis beforehand, but scoring 0 points definitely hurts. That means relinquishing all your any stage points and bonus points as well. shuffled him well outside the top 16 of points. Josh Susie, likewise, trying to play spoiler, not part of the championship conversation this season in the HTL Cup Series. Dustin Hall very much is 4th place in points entering tonight. Going to be difficult to gain on Emily Howe, who's sitting in 5th, but the best thing you can do is chip away at it. That's what Dustin Hall and Pacey Weisner are trying to do right now. Bryn Roberts, former points leader, sitting 22nd. Not having quite the race that he was hoping to have here in Nashville. A lot of people have sort of glossed over this weekend and looked over towards Michigan, the next race coming up on the calendar. That was the low morale going into Music City this week. Santiago in and out of pit lane. Roll around. 3 to go in stage 1. Flowers will look to find 10 early points in this contest. Fraser coming back out on the racetrack after 9 minutes on pit lane. Trying to gain some spots. You know there's technical issues throughout the field right now. Try to gain some spots on it. The 5 car not really battling for points of any kind, but it's points that can help the rest of the team. White flag, stage 1. Bobby Flowers out in front. More pit stops. Alfred Denny coming down pit lane this time. Not in the stage point conversation. Flowers wins stage 1. Byron Jones drops down to 10th in the stage. Down pit lane immediately comes several others. Flowers down pit lane. Byron Jones and John Matthews down pit lane. Pressey down pit lane as well. But Josh Susie out in front. You will lose a lap here. With how things are set up here in Nashville, you will lose time. Does Susie come down pit lane? No, he does not. Stays out. Running long, grab some clean air and try to set sail the best you can. Josh Arnold up to 3rd with pit stops are underway. Issue for Flowers that he's got to work through some lap traffic here. Ahead of Derek Miller and Caitlin Height. Not a lot of takers on pit lane right now. Everyone going a little bit longer. Dustin Hall under threat from Josh Arnold. And Howe in 4th, a distant 4th right now. Trout down pit lane this time. reason why we're seeing cars take the overcut strategy a little bit more here, though there's not a lot of fall off here. Blauer's this fastest car on the racetrack, 30.25. But the fall off here is 31.22, 31.1 for the leaders. Not a ton of fall off right now as Josh Arnold gets around Dustin Hall for that second spot. Before pit stops, an important decision to make there. Al and Markowski down pit lane together. But a lot of the field still staying out at this point. And they're going to come in this time, as does Susie. Meredith also down pit lane on this go. Looks like a lot of your route runners at the moment staying out. Steven Oberstadt will become the race leader ahead of Derek Miller. Zach Apperson in third. Bryn Roberts through the cycle goes up to fourth place here. Remember, stage 2 ends on lap 100. But everyone's thinking long game here on this strategy. Those at Penalty 51 thinking stages. We'll see how that pans out for them. No cautions since the lap 10 incident. That included Mo Perry. Mo Perry, the only official retirement in this race right now. Apperson now out in front, getting a lap lead as several cars come out of pit lane together. Dustin Hall, Josh Arnold, Josh Susie, all in this mix. Emily Howe trying to get her lap back on the fort. And Apperson's going to have to roll in at some point. Does so, but Emily Howe is going to be upset on that one. Had a chance to really breeze clear the one before his tires got the temperature, and now Dustin Hall's got a chance to fight it back. Blowers will re-inherit the race lead pretty easily once those remaining come down pit lane. Odie down pit lane now. So the top 7 still need to make a pit stop, and here comes some of them. Apperson down pit lane. Piscali as well down pit lane. Sasek and Roberts move forward. So Bryn Roberts out in front now on lap 60. Remember, Eli Sasek went long in the Challenger Series race on Tuesday. Worked out for him. He won the race then. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Longer race, though, here in the Cup Series. 186 laps is what they have to deal with, and that's going to be a lot more difficult. Four cars down pit lane. Bryn Roberts still rolling, setting his personal best laps right now. So he's kind of flying in that number 8 machine in this go long cycle. I thought the window was about 55 laps. It's a lot better than that, it looks like right now. Bryn Roberts having a pretty good time all of a sudden with a lot cleaner air in hand. Henderson working against Byron Jones. Both of them came down pit lane earlier. And now they sit just behind the race leader, and their next battle for position would be DJ Trout, just ahead of Roberts here. Anderson clear of Byron Jones, and now trying to get his lap back here before Roberts comes down pit lane. 3 drivers yet to come down pit lane, all of them pit on lap 10. So they could go longer here to just begin with. Not a bad game plan. Anderson in 11th right now. That'll change when some of those that come down pit lane cycle back through here. Yeah, Pereira, who is legitimately a lap down on the field, just behind. Roberts down pit lane this time. Sasek stays out an extra lap. Lap 66 underway now. Lap 65 completed for Eli Sasek. Does Sasek come down pit lane this time? Answer to that question is no. He stays out longer. Apperson goes around the long way. And Sasek just hanging in there right now, being a trooper. Sasek's teammate Jason Scott just came down pit lane, so now might be the time that he comes down and joins his teammate here. Flowers, Susie, Arnold, your top 3 is how they'll cycle through when Sasek makes that pit stop. And here he comes. Flowers on the back straightaway into turn 3 here now. 2.3 the gap. 35 of Santiago. Not going to make Susie's life too awful difficult, I don't think, here. And away they'll run. Susie in second, Arnold in third. This battle, an evergreen one. Emily Howe and Dustin Hall battling for that 4th spot once again. This time Howe in front of Dustin Hall. It was the other way around before pit stops. Meredith in 6th, a little more distant. TJ Trout on an island as well until you get to Henderson in 8th. Byron Jones in 9th. Casey Wygant rounding out your top 10 right now. And we've entered that stage of the race now where passes are going to be a lot more difficult to come by. See an Overstat just outside the stage point positions in 11th. Caitlin Height up to 12th once again. Started this race in 8th. Had that early spin and has struggled to recover since, but making some ground up here in cleaner air. But that's also going to make passing a little bit more difficult as well. The sharper end of the field is always going to be more difficult to deal with. John Matthews in 13th. Just barely missed out on stage points in stage number 1. Looks like he'll miss out on stage points again here in stage 2 if things hold steady with the next 29 laps. Markowski 14th. Nick Pressey up 18 spots right now in the 15th position. He's doing a decent job in the number 20 machine. Zach Apperson 16th place. Brendan Roberts in 17th. So the overcut strategy did work out from 23rd to 17th. 6 spots gained on that call. Not a bad move. Elias Flores in 18th place. Philip Snipes. It's not quite Bristol, but it is closer enough to home for this to be a home racetrack. He is sitting in the 19th position ahead of Derek Miller, who is closing in on him. Christina Ryan, 21st at the moment. June Jimenez in 22nd, the Brickyard 400 race winner from a week ago. Hanging in there. Mirabella Viscali, 23rd. Eli Sasek in 24th. Alfred Denny, 25th, ahead of Martin Roberg, Angel Santiago. But these are cars that are all a lap down right now on the race leader. 26 cars on the lead lap right now, down to Alfred Denny. 3 retirements officially. Bailey Thompson out. Brady Smith out. Mo Perry out. 34 still running after 73 laps here in Nashville. Susie closing the gap a little bit. He's got the clean air to do so. Down to 1.7 seconds after it being a little over 2.5 seconds several laps ago. He has chipped away at it little by little every run, giving the 25 to go in the stage. Flowers are very much focusing on the stage points, grabbing those quick points as they come. We'll see how the long run plays out here. Pitting early on lap 51. I'm not sure how that shakes out for him. We saw 55 laps, 57 laps run by Eli Sasek, so we know that the if you want to run long, you have the ability to, and you can get about, if you want to go fuel saving, you can get about 60. I don't know. I'm not sure I trust Blauer's strategy of pitting at the end of stage 1. I think that shoehorned him into making an extra stop. Those that are just running longer here, I think have the best. I think those that pit on lap 65, lap 67. I think those drivers, that small little handful, right now look the best at this point. Now, a caution can change everything. We've had 2 early on, but it's been quiet since. The field is spread out, 34 cars still running on the racetrack. But this is going to be a very interesting race to see how this all plays out. Emily Howe still dealing with the one of Dustin Hall, but keeping that one car at bay as things currently stand. See the concrete surface being rubbered in a lot more, showing where everyone's running at the moment. Down the back straightaway they go. Dustin Hall loses a little bit of time, got a little tight behind the 15 of Howe. He finished on the podium at the Brickyard a week ago in that wild case and circumstance. James Wright, first time at Nashville Superspeedway. Not having the greatest time on pit lane now for over a minute. Having a lot of struggles here in Music City. Dustin Hall, top 5. That's how things stand. Oh, battles further back here. Pressey and Apperson side by side. Crossed our finish line. Apperson wants the position. This is for 16th place. Roberts got around Pressey for 15th. Pressey on older tires. Remember, he was one of the first ones that came down pit lane. Pressey on pit lane on lap 51. Apperson came down pit lane on lap 59. 8-lap difference, and that's the benefit there. Being able to shoehorn your way forward. Bryn Roberts even fresher tires in that number 8 machine, came up at lane lap 65 and found his way through. Battle here between Wygen and Stephen Oberstadt as well. This is for 10th. And Stephen Oberstadt's got a pretty good run into turn 3. Let's see if he can pull it off here. Wygen will defend pretty heavily here. And stays clear across the start-finish line. But Wygen will feel the pressure here. Henderson under pressure for a moment there from Byron Jones. That gap is now open to 1.5 seconds as Henderson has a 5-lap advantage on the tires and has had a chance to pull away from the 24 in this conversation. Overstack grabbing 10th at the line. Side by side they roll. Overstack's got to keep it nice and tidy here in this battle with the 0-0. And they'll stay side by side in the turns 3 and 4. Overstack can't quite get to the bottom the same way in turns 3 and 4, and that allows Wygen to get back in front. In this battle for the 10th spot, the last stage point position for stage 2. A little wide. Both of them run up wide, but Wygen gets clear. Overstack gave it a really good shot. He'll have to regroup and try again here. He's got 16, coming to 15 laps to do so. Menez about to initiate a fight with the 80th, Christina Ryan. Pressure beginning to build here. Now for Denny, a lap down. You see that third car in line, that yellow and red machine behind Susie and Arnold as they battle for the second spot. They have closed in, though, significantly on Bobby Blowers. Susie less than a second away. 13 to go here in stage 2. Caitlin Height down pit lane, early pit stop for the 13. Committing to the 3-stop strategy pretty hard here. Top 3 equal spacing with 12 to go. Again, Blowers looking to maximize stage points here after that disqualification a week ago for race manipulation at Indianapolis. Josh Susie just trying to play spoiler in general. Emily Howe and Dustin Hall have been inseparable in this race, battling for that 4th spot basically the entire race so far. Dustin Hall had the advantage in stage 1. Emily Howe in stage 2 has had the advantage. Very even pacing amongst 2 of the best. Is that out for Denny coming down pit lane? No, he just got loose. Around lap traffic are the leaders. That's all riding right there, just behind the 15, trying everything he can. Emily Howe runs up the racetrack just a little bit. Dustin Hall tries to fill the space. Can't quite keep the back of the car underneath of him and almost spins it out, holds on to 5th. But that was a bit of a wild ride for the number 1. Flowers hoping that Arnold and Susie begin battling each other here before they get to him. Half a second the gap now. 7 to go in stage 2. Arnold's looking very racy here at the moment. I think the overcut strategy might be the way to go. The longer you can run, the better. Try to cut out one of those stops. Flowers really struggling to put power down out of turn 4. Losing about a tenth a lap at this point as they get closer. Getting close is one thing, though, here at Nashville. Passing is a completely different issue. We've seen that already. I asked Dustin Hall. Dustin Hall so close yet again to the 15 Emily Howe, but just can't get around. You almost need a lap car as a pick. Markowski trying to get around John Matthews, can't do so. That is the frustrating part of all of this. Here we go. Dustin Hall trying to make a pass happen with 6 to go in the stage. Finally, for the first time, has an advantage. Emily Howe came down pit lane on lap 55, Hall on 56, so they are close together here in this conversation. And still side by side. Christina Ryan, pit stop underway and done. Standard pit stop there for the 80. A little bit close there. 4 to go. Gap is stabilized here at about 3/10, but lap traffic in the way. Car spun for a moment. Roberg stays out of the way. We stay green. That would have been an awkward reset of things. Flowers, a little bit of latency. The lap traffic will give Susie a chance here. 3 to go at the line in stage 2. Sasek goes to the bottom. Whoa! Flowers gets shoved! How does everyone save that? They're still trying to save it. Here comes Josh Arnold. Arnold goes through. We told you the Outlaws cars would probably get raced a little bit harder after what happened at Indy. We just saw another instance of it. That was wild. This field was up in arms after the Brickyard a week ago with what happened between Blue Jade and Bobby Blowers. And they weren't happy when that appeal for the suspension was successful. We saw it with Byron Jones earlier, got moved out of the way in stage 1. Blowers got moved out of the race lead here in stage 2. White flag in the stage. It's now Josh Arnold, who was not a part of that conversation, now in front. He finished in the top 10 a week ago. Finished, I believe, in 4th a week ago. Just missed out on the podium at the Brickyard. Pressy on fresher tires, looking to just get a lap back here. Miller down pit lane, coming to the end of stage 2. It'll be in the hands of Josh Arnold here, who wins stage 2. Flowers hit down pit lane as expected, lap 101. Everyone else going a little bit longer. Oberstadt down pit lane here on lap 101. Arnold will keep rolling around a little bit. I expect him to come down pit lane about lap 110. Same with Josh Susie, Dustin Hall, Emily Howe, and company. Zach Meredith, top 5. Trout 6th right now. Henderson in 7th. Byron Jones in 8th. 9th, Pacey Wygen. Brent Roberts, top 10. Kelly Thompson back out on the racetrack. Day practically over from the 27 camp, trying to diagnose technical issues and using now the remainder of this race as a test bed to see if they can get those issues resolved. Not just important to try to figure that out for this race, but also Michigan coming up. A race for Thompson is a favorite to be a contender for that race when it needs to with the point situation right now. More cars down pit lane. Trout, Henderson, Jones all down pit lane together. Arnold stays out a little bit longer here. And the pit window widens into almost two different strategy calls here. Those that come down pit lane early and those that don't. I will say, the driver that can get to lap 126 on this second pit stop window will be the driver that has a chance to win this race. I would hazard to say Sasek might be that guy. Odie letting the leaders go by. Miller gets a lap back here as Arnold continues his run. And Arnold comes down pit lane this time. Does not extend it a little bit longer. So does Susie. And Mihal. They all come down pit lane together here. I am worried about the pit speed. No one sped, though. Meredith now out in front here in Nashville. Pacey Wygant will move up to second. Brendan Robertson third. We know he'll go long. He didn't come down pit lane until lap 65 on that first green flag pit stop run. Apperson fourth. Jimenez will end up in the fifth spot here. Caitlin Height, remember, one of the first ones to come down pit lane on lap 87. Trying to work forward here in this conversation. Willie Frazier not in the equation at all. Down in 34th, multiple laps down at this junction of the race. 18 laps down if you want to be precise. James Wright 17 laps down. Thompson 47 laps down. Roberg 12 laps down. Sam Tucker Sawyer. Right now only 12 cars on the lead lap right now. Emily Howell getting the best on the exchange on the pit stop cycle. Back on the lead lap. Would inherit fourth and would have a decent margin, about 3 seconds to Dustin Hall, who's gotten himself around DJ Trout in that run for that fourth position. YG coming down pit lane this time. Brendan Roberts will inherit the race lead again for the second time. 7 laps led now for the 8 camp. Who has, again, not had the best run of form in this race. Susie, fastest man on the racetrack right now, 30.103, the race lap time for the 88. He is soaring, but he is right now, if once pit stop cycle through, he's third. And he's got a lot of time to make up here. No, Roberts will run longer here. Roberts will run longer. Sasek will run longer. Apperson, Viscali, Flores just came down pit lane. It's a very small group of drivers trying to make it without an extra stop. Viscali down pit lane this time. 16 peels in. And there goes Eli Sasek. Roberts ahead by 5 seconds. Sasek 20 seconds adrift. but he is the safest on being able to make it without that third and final stop under green flag conditions if it stays that way. That's the big question. Will it stay caution-free to the end? 2 cautions in stage 1. Caution 2, let me try that again in English, backwards completely. Stage 1, caution, 2 cautions in stage 1. Stage 2, caution-free. So we had a little bit of everything in the opening stanzas of this race. However, we are now in stage 3, the final stanza yet to be written. Blowers is right there on the bumper of Bobby Blowers, having to deal with June Jimenez as well. Jimenez, who I believe has just come down pit lane. Yes, the 11 car has just made a pit stop here, trying to get a lap back on what would be the race leader, Bobby Blowers, here. And the top 3 have coalesced once again into a tight group, with Jimenez trying to get a lap back. See if she can. A little bit of a difference on the pit stop strategies here. Blowers on lap 101, Jimenez on lap 109. Apperson down pit lane this go around as the leaders go through behind in the background. Roberts continues to lead, but needs to make a pit stop here. If he can get to lap 126, he's got a shot. I don't think he can, looking at the numbers. But that's legitimately what you need. You need to be able to get to lap 126. You have to go a full 10 extra laps here, from here. I think it's possible for him to get to lap 120. There's a lot of work you got to do to try to make something like that happen. Sasek has been passed on the racetrack here, and he's yet to make a pit stop, so he will definitely go a lap down in pursuit of making this save strategy work if he can. It would be a genius move. But he's lost out now to the race leaders once Roberts comes down pit lane. Blowers will be in front. Arnold works around the 11 of Jimenez. I think Jimenez right now having to settle for right now being the first car a lap down. But Blowers under immediate threat, and he is at a disadvantage on the tire wear to everyone behind him. That does not bode well here. 35 of Santiago in this mix as well. Not on the lead lap. Santiago a full 2 laps down. Roberts down pit lane this time. Could not get to lap 120. Be reasonable to believe that 3 stops is the way to go. Everyone's got 1 extra stop to make. We'll see how far Sasek can go. If Sasek can go to up 126, he's got a shot. But that is a long shot to make. I personally don't think it's that viable. We'll see how things pan out here. Susie held up by Jimenez has lost a little bit of touch of Blowers and Arnold. Minus Sasek, pit stops have been completed here for the second green flag sequence. So with a little over 60 laps to go, 65 to go, no, sorry, 66 laps to go here. We'll go ahead and work through the field on this one. Bobby Blowers leading the way. Pole sitter for this race. Won stage 1, got moved out of the way in stage 2. Couldn't win that stage. Ended up finishing stage 2 in the third position, I do believe. Second or third position. Still a lot of stage points, but just an example of how hard that team has been raced today. Byron Jones moved earlier in stage one. They've been sort of elbowed out of the conversation following the controversy at Indianapolis a week ago. Out in front right now, Arnold's not going to be the kind of guy to move him, and I think Blowers is aware of that. So we'll see how this pans out, but Josh Arnold was the fastest of the three in stage two. So we'll see how that pans out. Arnold is sitting in that second spot, the Mississippi native for Militia Racing Club, looking for his fourth career win in the HTL Cup Series competition. He's won at Indy, won at Daytona. Won at Kansas last season. Looking for a win here in the Midwest once more. It'd be his third Midwest win behind Indy and Kansas, if he can do so, and a lot of lap cars in the way. That's the 96 of Pereira being passed, and Christina Ryan just up the road. Last car lead lap 21st. Josh Susi in third behind Jimenez, working through lap traffic as well. The main native super sub for Patrick Oberstadt and the Beagle Denny Racing team in that 88 car tonight. Not in a Ford, he's in a Chevrolet. We just didn't have a chance to update that before we went live tonight. But he is in the running here in the campaign. But right now he is the third wheel in that lead conversation. Emily Howe, fourth place, hasn't quite had the fastest car all night, but has had a top 5 car all night. That much has been assured. And currently, for the first time, has a lot of free space over Dustin Hall in fifth. 3 seconds plus in favor of Emily Howe over Dustin Hall, who finished on the podium here 2 seasons ago in HTL's first trip to Nashville. The Utah native, fourth in points. A top 5 helps continue that momentum along quite nicely. It'd be his fifth top 5 if he can hold on to it here in 10 races. Not a bad run of form for Dustin Hall, who has stepped it up significantly this season, looking for a championship. He's in that top 5 conversation to try to get that title once season is all said and done. Sasek comes down pit lane. He does get to lap 126. He did get to it. So he's got a shot to do this without an extra stop. Where will it get him? We'll find out. But before he went on the fuel save strategy call, he was outside the top 24. So Sasek has a chance. DJ Trout in 6th place on a little bit of an island at the moment. 2.5 behind Dustin Hall, a little under a second to Zach Meredith behind. Having a quiet day overall. Sort of just gone under the radar. And given him being part of the Orlando Outlaws, that's not been a bad thing for him. Already a little bit of content, a little bit of trouble for 4 of the Outlaws cars. He's the only one that's not had contact of any kind today. He's at 6th. They had a Meredith, former champion, back in season 3. The Tampa native sitting in 7th. Both Militia Racing Team cars sitting well in the top 10. Arnold in 2nd, Meredith in 7th right now. Henderson, a quiet race, but an effective race, and a race sorely needed for a driver that entered just above the cut line on the playoff point standings. A top 10 does well. Stage points also do well for the 25 camp here in Nashville. He finished 10th here 2 seasons ago. Looking for another top 10 here at Nashville Superspeedway if he can hold on to it. He's got 2.25 seconds to Pacey Wygant sitting in the 9th spot. Ascent Racing has 1 car in the conversation in the top 10. Wygant in 9th. 3rd place in points going in. If things hold, not too far-fetched to think that he couldn't have a chance at 2nd place in points, but that requires Ben Roberts having a little bit more trouble. Roberts, through his longer runs, doing the overcut strategy, has gotten himself into the top 10. The Maryland native chipping his way forward, still behind on Emily Howe, but in the conversation once again before we head to Michigan next Monday. Just outside the top 10, Stephen Overstapp battling with Byron Jones for that 11th position. Jones shoehorned out of the top 10 earlier in this race. Has struggled to find his way back into it. Overstapp gatekeeping that 11th spot pretty hard from the 24 with one pit stop left to go in this race. Byron Jones has some work to do, the Arizona native. An up-and-down campaign. This is a pretty solid result compared to the up-and-down season he's had so far, the first 9 races of this campaign. But the top 10 was in grasp. He qualified well and truly in the top 5. So to slip 9 spots from 3rd down to 12th is a pretty big gut punch for the 24 camp, who thought they had it figured out this race. Dale Markowski, quiet race. Usually a good thing in this circumstance, and that is a good thing for Dale Markowski. 13th place for him right now. He will take races like that, especially knowing that he has got some time between him and Caitlin Height right now in 14th place. Markowski, the Cleveland native, in 13th. Trying to hang on through this last pit stop sequence. We'll see how things play out with less than 60 laps to go. Caitlin Height, a spin on lap 4. Really putting things into perspective for the 13 car, who has missed a couple races in this campaign. The Arrowhead cars have not quite had the marks to be the fastest here in Nashville. It has been about survival and moving on to Michigan, where everyone should be a little bit more in play at the 2-mile oval next Monday. Just behind Caitlin Height, Zach Apperson in 15th. Keeping it steady, up 6 spots, qualified 21st, up to 15th right now is the Virginia native for Unforgiven Motorsports. They both got about a second over John Matthews, sitting in the 98 car, 16th place for him right now. Again, not a bad spot to be in. Quiet day. Everyone needs a quiet day every so often. John Matthews has needed that is for sure. Quiet days usually provide some points-paying opportunities here, and that's happening for Matthews, as it is for Miller. Miller for NFG Motorsports, trying to work his way forward. 17th position. He started this race in 18th place. His teammate Nick Pressey just behind him, up 15 spots to get to 18th. Not a great qualifying effort for him here in Nashville. And right now he is focused on just trying to stay on the lead lap. The leaders are all right behind him. And Pressey in 18th place will go a lap down officially here. Philip Snipes already a lap down, sitting in 19th place. A quieter day for him in the Arrowhead Racing Camp. Technically a home racetrack, home state for him. Top 20 effort. And importantly, he's not been fenced into the wall like he was at Indianapolis earlier on last Monday. The earmarked top 20 is capped off by June Jimenez, who has 2 seconds of an advantage over Elias Flores in 21st. Jimenez, winner last week in Indianapolis, has gone long on the strategy calls here. The idea, go as long as possible. That last stop with less than 30 to go. Take 2 tires and run to the finish from there. We'll see if that pans out. Philip Snipes working against Nick Pressey for that 18th spot. It looks like he might get it. They'll battle side by side down the back straightaway here. But that's your top 20, all your lead lap cars and a few of the top running lap down cars at this particular point in time. Caitlin Height coming down pit lane a little bit early. The window is open to make it from here. So Caitlin Height down pit lane this time in the number 13 machine for Arrowhead Racing. Going to try to undercut her way closer to the top 10 here. Flowers, Arnold, Susie, your top 3 have been under a blanket. Emily Howe, though, now also in this conversation, a second and a half away from the leader. It is a 4-car conversation right now at the front of the field. Teammates did not obstruct too awful hard here. Snipes down pit lane. Pressey let Howe go by. Miller first car a lap down right now, may be asked to move aside as well to allow Emily Howe to better battle for that race lead. Blowers getting passed for the race lead by Arnold here on the racetrack. Arnold leads lap 141, and it's not over yet. Susie down pit lane this time. So is DJ Trout and Blake Henderson, all down pit lane here. Arnold clear before pit stops, and that one was completely clean. No assistance necessary. Arnold out in front. He's got a car to beat here. Flowers down pit lane, same with Meredith. So Arnold out ahead of Howe. He's not going to fight her teammate, Kaylin Height, who just came out of pit lane. Too awful hard there. Arnold down pit lane this time. Emily Howe inherits the race lead and leads for the first time tonight. Dustin Hall also stays out. First lap led for Emily Howe here in Nashville. To kick off lap 144. But the pit window is well and truly open. Does Emily Howe come down pit lane this time? No. How about Dustin Hall? Also stays out and goes longer. They're thinking 2 tires in that splash of fuel to get to the end, shorten up the pit stop at the end of the race and try to grab that track position. As much as dirty air hurts drivers on the racetrack, the biggest killer is time stationary on pit lane. If you can cut 4 or 5 seconds out of your pit stop, that's an enormous benefit. Matthews down pit lane. Your entire top 10 still need to make pit stops here. Blowers, fastest man on the racetrack, 30.04, has taken the fastest lap away from Martin Roberg, who was out fastest lap hunting. Flowers and Arnold in a lot of traffic at the moment. Those two will inherit the race lead when pit stops are completed. And right now they are not far away. That was close. Arnold saw the door open and took it. He was going for it. No contact, so it's all good. But that was a wild move. And Josh Arnold looking for the chance for the race lead on the run. Oh, this is going to be 4 wide on turn 2. I don't like that at all. Blowers gets the advantage. And that's going to hurt Josh Arnold quite a bit. Again, Arnold has the fastest car between the two, but that traffic management was pretty abysmal. Emily Howe down pit lane this go around. So Dustin Hall is your new race leader. Keep an eye on Josh Arnold as he reels back in. Bobby Blowers looking for that race win. Dustin Hall down pit lane this time, so he bows out of it. And the race lead will go to Brent Roberts, and this is a traffic jam on the front straightaway. Casey Wygant in second. Del Markowski inherits third position with a pit stop still remaining. Zach Apperson inherits top 4. June Jimenez will inherit the top 5. Flowers and Arnold slicing and dicing through traffic at the moment. This is the closest battle on the racetrack, and it also will be for the race lead by the time the top 4 make their pit stops for the last time. Josh Arnold so much better at turn 4 that time. That's a crazy overrun that he just couldn't take anywhere. Arnold preferring the outer lane right now. Going out there and getting a good run. And we'll drive it to the inside through 3 and 4. Flowers tags the fence just a little bit. Pressure is there on the 34 right now. And Arnold gets to the quarter panel. Just couldn't quite stick it. Been a long time since Flowers got a race win. Josh Arnold trying to make him wait a little bit longer on this. Side by side, they roll to the line. And again, they're still waiting for the top 4 to come down pit lane here. Flowers' only race win came at Atlanta back on November 20th, 2023. He has waited almost 3 years to try to find a way back to victory lane here on HTL. And they are racing hard at the front of the field. Arnold wants to find victory lane again. Flowers wants to find victory lane for the first time. He needs all the points he can get. Following the controversy last week. Roberts continues to run longer. Roberts and Apperson still running, with the pit stop left to make. Arnold is hounding the rear end of Bobby Flowers, trying to find a way through. This could get physical. Arnold typically doesn't race that way, but it could. It could very well get physical before this race is said and done. Arnold sticks to the outside of Flowers at a turn 2. A little bit of side draft down the back straightaway. Side draft from both sides. Arnold trying to race his way around. He gets clear. Arnold gets clear for third on the racetrack. Provisionally, though, that's a chance at the race lead. Huge moment for Martin Roberg, back ahead of the 34 on the racetrack. Had assistance in stage 2, but has now passed the 34 twice on the racetrack since. That is what the doctor ordered. Blauer's going to send it in deep, trying to get that position back. Even if Arnold is not physical, Blauer's will be. We know that. Jimenez makes a pit stop here. For the last time, the 11 car comes down pit lane. Arnold tags the fence out of turn 2. Robertson Apperson still out on the racetrack. Here's Ben Roberts just now out of turn 2. His teammate Dustin Hall behind him in 7th, trying to get a lap back here. Zach Apperson on an island there in the 2nd spot. Just 4 seconds ahead of Josh Arnold right now is the Ford, who needs to make that stop, more than likely for 2 tires to shorten up the time on pit lane. That's the only way that this makes sense right now. Dustin Hall gets through. Bryn Roberts won't fight him on that. There's no point to. .22 laps to go. The concern for Bobby Blauers at this point, not only is it losing the spot to Josh Arnold, he could potentially lose another one. Emily Howe is in range right now, as is Josh Susi. Those are the 2 that you really got to have to start worrying about here across these next 22 laps, because they are all better on tires right now. That's the big question mark right now. Does Blauers have a chance to hold on to 2nd place if this is all said and done? And if not, where does he fall? I think Blauers is aware of that, at least somewhat coherently aware, because he has given up 3/4 of a second to Josh Arnold. He has stopped battling for that position, and now I think he is working on consolidating his tires at this point, which are definitely at a disadvantage to those around him. Bryn Roberts will take a 2-tire stop at the end. That's a guarantee, as it is for Apperson. That's the only way they can make things happen here. Right now, they lead the way. Position battle further back. Byron Jones got around Patrick Oberstadt, but they are battling for the 13th position. This could be 11th when Roberts and Apperson come down pit lane. But right now, they are still missing out on the top 10. Battle further back here. Miller, Flores, and it looks like Jimenez all in this fight right now. This is not on the lead lap. This is for the 19th position, and they are 3 wide across our finish line. 3 different teams in the mix, 3 different Toyota teams in the mix here: Ascent, NFG, and Arrowhead. Arrowhead by way of Sablier. Sablier Racing for Jimenez is the team that she's driving for, the satellite team for Arrowhead. But Jimenez, who just recently came down pit lane, has the advantage there on that situation. Apperson down pit lane. This will be very important to see how this pans out. And this is a full 4-tire stop for Apperson. Did not take 2 tires on that strategy call. That is bizarre to me. That was a layup, I thought. Not a chance, I guess, for Apperson. 11 seconds. That's a 4-tire stop. Bren Roberts, how about him? He will relinquish the race lead to Josh Arnold in this race. Early pit box for him. Didn't qualify well. Let's see what he's got. Two-tire stop. There you go. So he did go for the right call there. And we will see how it pans out coming to 16 to go. So Josh Arnold now out in front. Caitlin Height trying to get a lap back here. Caitlin Height in 15th place right now. Santiago trying to stay out of the way in the 35 car on the outer lane. Not quite the race to remember for a lot of the field. But it has been a green flag race. This was allowed this race to sort of fly by as quickly as possible. Two cautions during stage 1. One for Caitlin Height on lap 2. One for Mo Perry, lap 9. The only interventions in this competition that has allowed Josh Arnold to have a chance to break through for his 4th career HTL Cup Series win. His 3rd in the Midwest if he can hold on for less than 15 more laps here in Nashville. A 2nd clear of Blowers as things currently sit. Emily Howe closing in. Josh Susi also in range for the 88, just in the background. Dustin Hall in 5th. DJ Trout in 6th. Zach Meredith in 7th. Bren Roberts in 8th. Blake Henderson in 9th. Pacey Wygant, your top 10 at the moment. Bren Roberts, that 2-tire stop, keeps him in the top 10 running order. That's how important that 2-tire stop was. That kept him in range and in motion. Apperson still gains spots. He's up 5 spots from where he started, but he is in 16th right now. And a pretty far cry away from Caitlin Height right now as John Matthews tags the fence out of 4. That is a battle for 16th, and Matthews just gave up the ghost a little bit on that. Meredith battling to stay ahead of Bren Roberts at the moment, who has those fresher right side tires. And Bren Roberts on a 2-tire strategy might just yet have a chance to break in for a top 5. Might just. He's got a little bit of work out of him, but he's in 7th. 2 more to gain to move forward on that conversation. Not a bad run. Emily Howe, outer lane, closing in, half a second adrift. Caitlin Height, how much does she fight Emily Howe? She's not. Laps are ticking away with 10 to go here in Nashville. Music City has been pretty rapid here tonight. Roberts right there on DJ Trout now as well. 7th is right ahead of him. Sorry, 6th ahead of him right now. He's in 7th. I'm not sure DJ Trout can do a whole lot about this one. Roberts has got to feel like he's on top of the world right now with the pace he's set on those 2 side tires. blazes through in the turns 1 and 2. And now Trout's in the rearview mirror. By Sasek in the battle now with Byron Jones. This is for the 12th position right now. Overstack clear of Byron Jones late on into this race for 11th. So still a couple battles to be decided across these next few laps. Coming to 6 to go. The laps continue to tick down. With 5 to go, Arnold has the race lead, 1.2 seconds out in front. Hard fought, hard earned so far. He's just got to keep it on the island here. Richard Odie will not fight him too awful hard and let him go by. With 5 laps to go, coming to 4 to go. These laps ticking by pretty quickly. Emily Howe is not being able to close much further than half a second on Blowers, but another podium finish on the cards for the 15 camp tonight. This is how things sit. Dustin Hall down pit lane again. What happened to Dustin Hall? Did he underfuel? That's a gut punch for the number 1. This might be a splash and dash. This might be an underfuel. It is. Underfueled to get to the end of the race. Didn't quite have enough. That hurts a lot. Out of the top 10, he was sitting in 4th. Sorry, sitting in 5th. Brent Roberts now easily carves into the top 5. That'll be his ceiling tonight. Blowers under pressure. The gap has shrunk. Emily Howe in the mix. Looking for potentially that second spot. 2 laps to go here in Nashville. We know Emily Howe will be physical if she needs to be. I think Blowers knows that as well. It is time to get a roll on at this point. To try to hold on to that second place if you're Bobby Blowers. For Josh Arnold, though, he comes around to the white flag. 1 lap to go, presented by Henderson Graphics. One lap remaining. He's all just got to hang on here. Emily Howe gave it a swing and might be in jeopardy of losing 3rd. Tried to lunge in the turns 1 and 2 and couldn't quite do it. Josh Arnold, though, no worries at all. 4th career win. Josh Arnold conquers the concrete jungle in Nashville. Flowers hangs on to 2nd, the pole sitter. Denied a 2nd career win. And the wait will continue at least another week. Emily Howe finishing 3rd. Christina Ryan out of fuel, it looks like, after the finish. And we'll take a look here. But Josh Arnold burning it down here. Victory lane. Zach Meredith celebrating not winning. Josh Arnold is victorious here. in Nashville. In a wild turn of events, he finds victory lane. A wild, wild race. Let's go ahead and take a look at how everything finished up here in Nashville. Your results on your screen right now. Josh Arnold, 10th to 1st to win here in Music City. We'll hear from your podium finishers here in just a second. Inley Howe in 3rd behind Blowers, the pole sitter. Josh Susi in 4th, playing super sub. Patrick Oberstadt finishes top 5. Bryn Roberts also top 5 on his return after missing the Brickyard a week ago. DJ Trout in 6th. Zach Meredith in 7th. Ahead of Blake Henderson, Casey Wygant, Stephen Oberstadt. Rounding out the top 10 with that failure to make it on fuel for Dustin Hall. Oberstadt grabs the top 10 in a pretty big way. Byron Jones ends up 11th after all. Eli Sasek ends up in 12th. All things said and done here. And unofficial results, there's not a lot I think that's going to change how these results play out here. Pretty straightforward stuff there. Joe Markowski, Caitlin Height, and Zach Apperson round out your top 15 here. Dustin Hall grabbing a 16th out of the jaws of the top 5 here in Nashville. That's a gut punch for him. Finished 3rd here 2 seasons ago, so this will be a far cry from what he was expecting here tonight. John Matthews, 17th. June Jimenez in 18th place ahead of Elias Flores and Mirabella Viscali. Your top 20. Derek Miller, Nick Cressy, Christina Ryan, and Alfred Denny round out your top 24. 37 starters in this race tonight. Gary Donaldson started last, finished 25th. Ahead of Angel Santiago, Olivia Pereira, Philip Snipes, Richard Odie, and Jason Scott, who took care of your top 30. Tucker Sawyer, Lily Frazier, James Wright, the last cars to take the checkered flag tonight. Bailey Thompson out. Martin Roberg, Brady Smith, and I believe Mo Perry. Yes, Mo Perry, 37th, the last car classified here in Nashville Superspeedway. We do get to talk to podium finishers here tonight in a big way. Emily Howe continues to extend the points lead here in the HTL Cup Series campaign. Lost the points lead in Winsdale last night. Didn't have a great run. Finished 33rd in Kansas. A lot better run of form here tonight in Nashville. Another 3rd place run for Emily Howe. Emily, walk us through it. That 15 car looked like it had some demons that had to take care of tonight, but that 15 car good enough for 3rd once again, this time here in Music City. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a weird package, so I mean, it's kind of weird what you're kind of supposed to go with. And we had a really good car for when the track rubbered in and got, really slick and slow. So late in that race, it just kept coming to us, and if I had one more run, I think I could have gotten both of them and gotten the win there, but ran out of time. Good race, though. Good P3. I think we got stage points. I don't know. I forgot to look at what stage we were in, but overall, happy, good race. I think all the championship contenders kind of didn't have great races, so gives us a decent little point boost, and we head into insert next track here.
Michigan. Michigan and Winston and HTL kind of fall in the same sort of vein right now. So we're going to be spending a lot of time in Michigan next weekend. That being said, obviously this combination a bit weird. Michigan is coming up. It gets a lot more wide open. Michigan, New Hampshire, Daytona, Homestead, all on that list of tracks coming up here. Not quite in that order. We know how good you are. Last time we went to New Hampshire in an HTL in an ABN broadcast, you were pretty successful there as well. So, a couple races coming up here, pretty big for what could be the 15 cars' chance to break through and grab victory lane for the first time in HTL. What's the feeling going into that? Over 100-point advantage, some room to play with going into those races as well.
Now, hang on. What was the last broadcast race in HTL that I was in New Hampshire?
That was HTL. For the last ABN broadcast was in New Hampshire. It was the ABN Champ Car race that you won.
Oh, did I do that?
Yeah.
Whoops, I forgot about that. I think the last one actually truly was Winsdale this season, where I got wrecked the hell out of on lap 7. So I was going to say, I did not find any success there.
I don't remember that one. I remember the Avian Champ one because you lapped almost the entire field.
Let's remember that one. Yeah, good idea. Yeah, that's what I went to New Hampshire.
But that being said, you have over 100 points in hand. You have Michigan coming up, which is going to be a wide-open racetrack in these cars. New Hampshire, which is a racetrack we know that you have the ability to win at. Homestead Miami Speedway, a track everyone's run at. Daytona, if it's open setup Gen 7. Getting flying machines, we know the cheese they've got at Daytona. So a lot of good racetracks coming up there and a points buffer to sort of play around with. How does that sort of affect how you approach those races, knowing that the only thing you really need right now is a race win?
I think I just keep continuing on as we continue on, right? Like, we don't really need wins. We just need to be consistent in the top 5, and we can keep extending the point lead. They can't beat us if they can't beat us by a lot right now. So just got to keep everything clean and green, and keep the tires in the car and keep rolling.
Huge benefit here going into Nashville. Back-to-back podiums, 3rd place at Indy, 3rd place here in Nashville as well. Obviously, a lot of racing left to go. 4 races in the HTL Cup Series campaign, with Michigan coming up on Sunday and a double dose on Monday as well. Before we let you go and let you get ready for those races and obviously sort of relax, you had a pretty stressful day just trying to get back to do the race today. If there's anyone I shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Congratulations on the drive, and number 15 looking super consistent when you need to be in the regular season here in the HTL Cup Series.
Yeah, I gotta thank all the folks back in the Toyota conglomerate and HTL. I don't know what team names are anymore. I think Arrowhead's one of them. Do I drive for Arrowhead?
Yes.
Thank you, Arrowhead. Who else? Shout out to Christina Ryan from winning a Winstall race. That's pretty cool. She broke the 0 for 90 whatever streak, so she's no longer Michael Waltrip. What else? Super GT, they blew over in Japan. Like, that was cool. We had a Christina Ryan win a Super GT blow over in 24 hours. Like, what more can I shout out? Shout out to Advanced Auto Parts for dang old, or was it? I wasn't thinking about it. I don't know where I went, but whoever changed my battery and got my machine back on the road before I got home. And dang it, who else was gonna? Oh yeah, I'm gonna thank KFC for bringing that popcorn chicken. This is delicious, fantastic.
A phenomenal job for Emily Howe. P3 again here in Music City. Emily, congratulations on the run again, and obviously we'll see you again this weekend when we head to Michigan for back-to-back nights. So enjoy spending a lot of time at that racetrack. It's going to be pretty electric, I think, the Gen 4 car and then this car with 110 horsepower.
Woo!
A phenomenal job for Emily Howe. P3 here tonight. We will then move forward to Bobby Blowers, the number 34 camp, a whirlwind 7 days. On Tuesday, this 34 car was off the list for Nashville, suspended from following the incidents at Indianapolis. Independent arbitrator reviewed the appeal, said, disqualification will stand, but 34 car race, and that 34 car had a chance to win tonight. Unfortunately, the winless drought will continue for at least one more week for the 34 car. Rapid pole position. We don't see that very often from the 34 camp tonight. Stage 1 win. A lot of points in Stage 2 as well. A little physicality, but a podium is what the doctor ordered to sort of recover from Indianapolis. Walk us through it, Bobby.
First off, gotta thank everybody on our team. We had a heck of a setup rolling into here. Really helps having that kind of speed right off the rip. I thought I was going to lead the whole thing. Later portions it started getting really tight on me, but that was just me not keeping up with it in the pits. But won the first stage, cycled back out with the lead again. Thought I was going to have a shot to keep the lead on that second stage. Lap car. It was just a big miscommunication. I'm not too upset about it. It happens. I'm glad I made I should make the highlight reel with that save though.
Yeah.
If I didn't win, I'll take that. Third stage. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was going to say, because that was a huge part of it. That was, I think, a big deciding factor. Obviously, Josh Arnold then was able to kind of he got around you with the help from Josh Susi there, that assist there from the 88 car in Stage 2. But then Josh Arnold was able to do it again in stage 3, did it twice with the pit stop sequences as they were. I was going to ask about stage 3. What more could you have done to sort of keep on top of that race car? Because it seemed like as the race progressed, the 12 car got better and better and better. What was missing at the end there for the 34 camp?
Well, right off rip in the race, it was pretty loose, and I thought it was just going to start coming to me a little bit better throughout the race. And it just kept getting really tight in center, so I could have done a little bit better with air pressure adjustments or something in the pits, but I don't know. I'm not too upset about that. After last week and a half or whatever, like last 2 months, I'll take that.
That being said, a whole boatload of points. 19 stage points helps out a significant amount. Bonus points, pole position, second place here in the race, helps get this 34 car back on the right track with playoffs in mind. 6 races to go after tonight. This 34 camp is firmly in the conversation, but it's Michigan coming up here in 7 days for the Cup Series campaign. What are the vibes going into the Great Lakes State next Monday?
Have yet to turn a lap, so just gonna be putting in some time this week and figuring something out and seeing what we can do there.
That being said, the 34 car was electric tonight from start to finish. Wasn't a time under green flag conditions that the 34 car wasn't in the top 3. That being said, before we let you go and let you obviously debrief with the team and get ready for the racing ahead, we'll be in Michigan tomorrow for the Challenger Series as well. So a lot of time up in Michigan over this next week. Gross. That being said, if the team want to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours. Take it away. Congratulations on the pole position, stage 1 win, and a whole lot of points to go with it going into Michigan.
Yeah, thank you. Gotta thank Orlando Outlaws Esports, all my teammates there. Gotta thank Ulti Energy. Gotta thank Creeper Host. Gotta thank 213simware.com. Oh yeah, and with Ulti, if you go to the website, we have a code, Outlaws, 10% off on any order. Shoot, I'm forgetting one. If I'm forgetting names, just thank you for helping us out. Sword Dog, that's our new jersey supplier. We have jerseys in stock through them. Yeah, gotta thank the team.
Huge effort here in Nashville. Bobby Blauer, second place tonight, recovering from Indianapolis in style with a podium here in Music City. We'll see him again in Michigan. Bobby, enjoy the podium, and hopefully we'll talk to you again next week.
Yeah, thank you.
A great job for Bobby Blauer, second place tonight, but it is the man of the hour, 4-time race winner, Josh Arnold tonight. Had a rocket ship. That was evident at the moment we got into stage 2. That 12 car came alive. It seemed like as the track cooled down, that 12 car got better. Malaysia Racing Club back on top here in HTL. Josh Arnold, walk us through it. That was a wild ride tonight, but the 12 car victorious, and that is a huge benefit for what has already been a pretty good season for the 12 camp, all things considered.
Yeah, I kind of got looking at the points, and I think me and Christina Ryan had no stage points or playoff points and no wins. And I was like, golly, I got to get one of these sooner or later. And I almost totally messed up when I saw Susie and Bobby kind of get together there. And I went low, and I thought they were going to come back down and get me, and so, but ended up getting that stage. And yeah, clean air, obviously, and the further up the front you are, it took about 40 laps or so to get to the somewhat cleaner air. It was a struggle back there a little bit until I kind of started running the high line, picked up a few spots, and then getting towards the front, it was great battles with Emily and Bobby and Susie and everybody else. The lap cars got out of the way for the most part, and it was just a normal race for me. I would say take care of my car, take care of my tires, and I've always been someone that's better on the long run, and the setups are kind of like helping me even do that more. So, but yeah, it was totally unexpected tonight. I mean, I thought I had a pretty decent shot at running top 10 and, qualified 10th, barely inside where I wanted to run. And then, just kind of kept the car clean and just picked up one spot at a time. And then, there at the end, just having to get to the outside of Bobby. Every time, went to the inside, I even trying to pass Bobby, and then here comes Susie, on the outside, and then, I fall back to third and then have to try to, go after it again. But I knew getting to the outside of Bobby and being able to roll the center of the corner, which is great at a track like Nashville.
That being said, obviously this is what the doctor ordered, already having a pretty good season. You're now 4th in points, 142 ahead of the cut line. Typically, we talk about the 12th car and we talk about being near that cut line. You are 12 spots above it and almost 2 races clear of the cut line with 6 races to go in the regular season campaign. Michigan coming up next. That 12 cars looked outstanding. Both cars in the top 10 tonight, with Meredith in 7th, as you mentioned there earlier. What's the vibes going into the Great Lakes stake? Everyone feels, it seems like, confident to some degree. What's the vibes, though, for the Militia Racing Club as they head into the Great Lakes stake? Is there a chance for Meredith to grab a race win? He's been successful there before. And does that team feel like they can kind of keep this roll going?
Well, I mean, I'm interested to see how the setups will play out at Michigan, because we'll be 3 and 4 wide down the front stretch, at some point, and you just really never know what's going to happen there. That's another track that you kind of have to try to save your tires a little bit, because if you push too early, the back of the run, you might lose the draft if it's a breakaway, like we've seen it before. But no, I mean, really just trying to get me and Meredith into the playoffs. Missing Shad, of course, he hasn't been he's been part-time, and I haven't been able to find anybody to take his spot, but just being able to do it differently, because with the change in the playoffs, it was like that one season I won at Daytona, the last possible chance to make the playoffs, and just doing it the, like everybody says, the Logano way kind of thing. And that kind of was how I always operated. But now, having to try to push a little earlier than what I would. I mean, you'd see me in 20th spot and then finish in 6th or 7th, just working my way up throughout the race. But now I feel like I have to get those stage points, because in previous seasons, that's where we would start the playoffs and I would have the least amount of stage points out of anybody in the playoffs. And so just having to flip mentalities and, having good setups is also, helping us out throughout the season. This, get going after we got past the plate tracks, where it was kind of rough start.
It's fantastic being able to see this team run and operate the way it has so far this season. Again, both cars doing a phenomenal job here. 4th place for you in points after tonight's race win. Meredith almost a race clear of the cut line as well. 7th place in points for him. So the team is running, I think, exceptionally well when it needs to right now. That being said, before we let you go and let you fully celebrate your race win, if there's anyone to shout and say thank you to, the floor is yours tonight here in Music City.
Of course, ABN for broadcasting these races. I'll always say it's the best broadcast on iRacing. And then, of course, some of my sponsors, Jones Paint and Design. And then my group of friends that just, hang out with us during the race and kind of laugh and stuff like that. So, but definitely Zach for he does a lot of the practice for the ovals. And he helps me with fuel mileage and stuff like that when I'm having to work a lot during the week. So, but thank you, especially to you, Carmen and Blake, and all the admins in the league.
A phenomenal job for Josh Arnold. 4th career win in the HTL Cup Series. He wins in Music City It moves to 4th in points with Michigan coming up next Monday. Josh, enjoy the race win. Congratulations. It's always fun seeing you here being successful at HTL, and hopefully we get to talk to you again in a very similar fashion next Monday. Enjoy it.
Thank you. See everyone in the Irish Hills.
That was Josh Arnold, your race winner here tonight. A fantastic job from the number 12 camp here in Nashville Superspeedway. A great job tonight for him. And that ends everything as it stands from Nashville Superspeedway. A huge shout out to Team Conti Sim Performance for sponsoring tonight's race here in Nashville. If you need stock car setups of any kind, they cover just about all the bases: ARCA, trucks, National, Cup. Every week, you got driver development, one-on-one coaching. We got several teams using Team Conti setups in this series, and they provide coaching and one-on-one hands-on approach for the races that you're about to do, whether you're doing NIS, whether you're doing officials, or you're doing league racing and you just need stuff on demand. They've got everything covered there, and we're glad they sponsored tonight's race here in Music City. Congratulations to Josh Arnold on winning the Team Conti 400 here tonight. Also, a huge shout out to Henderson Graphics. They presented the camera set that we used for tonight's event to great effect. Always great seeing Henderson Graphics and what they cook up here, whether it's paint schemes, you saw many of them on track tonight, whether it's the camera sets that we get for the racetracks that we feature here on ABN. NASCAR quality without NASCAR pricing. The QR code on your screen can help you get started. Whether you're winning in real life or trying to win an NIS or another official series or just your league, look good doing it. Henderson Graphics is the place to go. A phenomenal job for Henderson Graphics as well, and obviously a huge shout out to our official drink supplement partner in Advanced tonight. They helped us out significantly, jumping on board for our anniversary. 10% off Advanced, whether you're needing energy, sleep supplements, hydration benefits, or just help with focus. Focus was big for us tonight, coming home from cancer treatment and trying to get back in rhythm. Needed a lot of focus tonight. Worked out, I think, to a significant degree, as they have the last couple months. If they can help me, they can help you all too. 10% off of all your orders through advanced.gg. Use ABN Studios to do so. But that'll do it from us here from Nashville Superspeedway. We head to Michigan. We'll be at Michigan the next 3 broadcasts. The HTL Challenger Series tomorrow night. Sunday, the HTL Cup Series. And then Monday, the HTL Cup Series. All in the Irish Hills of Brooklyn, Michigan. On behalf of everyone here for HTL and all of its partners, and everyone here at ABN Studios, our partners, Henderson Graphics and Advanced, I'm Carmen Sienna. Stay safe and stay healthy. We'll see you in Michigan all week long. Until